Hello, YouTubers. It's a beautiful mess today. Yep, I got my gaskets for the pump. And here they are. There's the front pump gasket. There's a little rubber ring, O-ring that goes around it. And here is the front seal and the little bushing bearing, brass bushing bearing that will go inside the pump there, and it rides actually on that torque converter right there. And of course, we'll be installing all that on the new one, which is right there. So I'm pretty excited to get this together. I'm not going to show you how I do. I'm just going to put it all together and give you a decent idea how how it's done, I guess, sort of. But that's kind of false advertising, I guess. But in a nutshell, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of put all this together, put the transmission back in, drop it in here in a little bit. Put the front drum in over there. Really not that big of a deal here to put all this back together, but I did want to show you. There is the transmission, where it's going to go. The hole, transmission hole, I should say. I don't know, call it that. But right here, there's a place cut out in the frame where the transmission will kind of slide up and slide down. The older Neons did not have this. You had to wiggle that transmission and turn it sideways and all that. Now this is a 2002, and I think in 2001 they cut the frame out like this in order to drop the transmission down and get it up. Just so you know, but plenty of room here. The whole idea is to take the transmission jack, which is sitting right there, put it on the transmission jack, roll it back up under the vehicle, and put that sucker back in there. So check back in here in a little bit after I get the transmission all together, and we'll start putting it back up in there. Let you know how it's going. It won't be a step-by-step tutorial, but just a little quick update video here as I slowly put it back together. Alright, there's a new seal and a new bushing. You can't see that, but there's the old seal. There's the old bushing. A lot of times you can just cut these out. Take your time and grab it. Get you a pair of needle nose pliers. You can usually just pull these out. I don't usually like disassembling the whole pump just to knock out a bearing, a race, because a lot of times you can't get it quite right the way it was before. But alright, that's done. Now we'll go ahead and start putting that in there, put that and the gasket together, and we'll put this on the jack and put her in the transmission. I'll put the transmission in the car, I should say. And now she's all back together. Got the pump in, the seal, the outer ring, and I'm happy, and I've already tested the pump. Make sure it goes on just fine, and it spins, no problem. Now, if you're ever tightening down your front pump and it gets into a bind stop, pull it back out, verify that everything is in there right, and make sure your clearance is okay. But those pump bolts should go in without no problem, and you can see they're all in there. And now we're ready to go ahead and put it on the jack stand and put it back in the car. And now she's on the jack. She's getting ready to go up, and there she comes. So now all I gotta do is slowly lift it up. Now this time, when you get to this point, that's what I'm trying to say. Just take your time, and I always put the torque converter in last. I get it up on the jack stand, then stick the torque converter in there. Sorry about the light, but it makes it a little bit easier. It makes the transmission lighter while it's sitting on the jack. So, yeah, put your torque converter in last. Make sure it sets all the way back in there. You know what? That's annoying. Let me get a light. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. And make sure it's setting in there, really far like it should be. And it should work out for you. So, now I'll go ahead and jack this up, and we'll get some bolts started. And we'll start closing out this video, and hopefully she'll run pretty good. And how about that, kids? It is in, and just like that, had no problem getting it in there whatsoever. So I got my two top bolts in on the top of the transmission, and let's look underneath here. I have to grab my light. By the way, it's February, middle of February, and what a nice break we got in the weather. It's in the 60s today. A nice payback from being below zero for 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, and here's the bottom, and you can see I even got one of my torque converter bolts started. Now this transmission jack is a lifesaver because it has a couple of handles on it. It's got one there, it's got one there. You can kind of adjust it and kind of move that transmission around like that. and it makes a big difference if you're a one-man band. So really, all I have to do now is go ahead and put it all together, the bolts and the axles back in it. And the next clip, video clip you see, will be me starting this thing up and seeing if this thing will work, and I think it will. We should be in pretty good shape, and I'll be a happy camper. So stay tuned. Let's go ahead and get this all hooked up, and we'll start it up here in a little bit and make sure it's going to run okay. I'm going to go get some transmission fluid and another filter and do it the right way. So I'll see you back here in a few minutes, or maybe an hour. All right, everyone. I said I'd be back here a little bit later after I finish things up, and now you can see it's pretty dark outside, so this took me about 4.5 hours. I took my time at it, and would you believe we have fixed it? The torque converter took care of the issue. It goes into gear now. It goes in reverse. It doesn't stall no more. Transmission went in pretty good. It took a little while to get some things hooked up, and underneath you can see it's I have no leaks or anything. Pretty dry up under there. So let's go in here and start this up. Bring this light with me. Give you guys a idea here. Let's start her up. Starts right up, no problem whatsoever. Let me get some lights on here real quick. I don't have much battery left on my cell phone, so I'll have to make this kind of quick. All right, she's idling pretty good. Let's go ahead and drop her down in gear. Foot on the brake, and here we go. Reverse, drive, and neutral. How about that? And watch the speedometer, it'll kick right up it'll shift through all the gears, no problem. There's third. There's fourth. Overdrive. And it shifts down really good. No problems whatsoever. And I can hit the brake right there. And look at that. Smooth idle at about 800 RPM. Foot on the brake, and there is low, 3, drive, overdrive, and neutral. So I am really excited to have this thing fixed. There's reverse. You can probably hear it kicking in out there. Neutral and drive. Yay, we have fixed it. So I am really excited. First, second, third. You have to go about 40, 45 before it goes into overdrive. But no more stalling. I am so excited to have this done. And we'll go out here real quick, look at it. So the whole time it was the torque converter that was bad. If you have this issue, you might want to think about your torque converter. And this thing took 10 quarts of transmission fluid with an empty torque converter. There's the old one. And you can see now it's full, nice and red, like it should be on the dipstick. And other than that, I don't have anything else to tell you. So what I'm going to do is just shut it off so I can kind of wrap the video up here real quick. So what I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and tinker with it, get some things on it, put the wheels back on it, clean it up really nicely. And once I get it cleaned up and get it on the road, I'll come back and give you guys another look at it and give you an update how everything went. So thanks for watching so far. This may be the second to last video on this, so it was kind of a fun project to do. So I'm gonna probably drive it a little bit. It's a fun car to drive. Then eventually I will go ahead and sell it. It's gonna make somebody a nice car. So thanks for watching. I'll give you guys an update later on what it looks like when I get it on the road and all that. So don't give up, hold that dream, and believe in yourself, guys. I'll see you next time on my next video.